Look at Kuwait. It is a wealthy, stable nation tucked into the Persian Gulf. Yet recently, the Kuwaiti government began issuing urgent public advisories, detailing exactly how citizens should protect themselves from a localized radiation leak. The alarm reaches up to the highest levels of global health. The World Health Organization is issuing simultaneous directives across the region, stating that they are actively preparing for worst-case scenarios. Geopolitical leaders are echoing this anxiety. Prime Minister Modi has publicly warned international audiences to brace for a prolonged, severely deteriorating global situation. These health bodies and national governments are positioning resources for a fallout event, despite the absence of any active nuclear weapons. The evidence of this preparation is moving through the global supply chain. We are tracking a massive, sudden surge in bulk orders for 2 highly specialized anti-radiation drugs across West Asia. The first drug is potassium iodide. If a radiation emergency occurs, this compound floods the human thyroid gland, blocking it from absorbing toxic, radioactive isotopes from the environment. The second compound is a rare antidote called Prussian Blue, formulated to trap and flush radioactive heavy metals straight out of the human body. These stockpiles are moving at the state level. India's Defense Research Wing, the DRDO, is heavily involved in the mass manufacturing and distribution of these chemical countermeasures. This pharmaceutical surge indicates a shift in regional defense. The Gulf states are stockpiling for the potential destruction of unfinished nuclear research sites and the resulting fallout. The current tension stems from military strategy. Israel and the United States maintain a strict focus on neutralizing Iran's nuclear research program before it yields a finished weapon. Standard military logic assumes that a heavy airstrike to obliterate a research bunker eliminates the threat of the enemy acquiring a bomb. This schematic shows a flaw. When a missile strikes a nuclear facility, it shatters the concrete infrastructure, but does not destroy the radioactive fissile materials inside. Instead, the explosive force vaporizes those raw materials, launching a radioactive cloud directly into the upper atmosphere. A preemptive surgical strike, intended to secure the region, effectively operates as a massive, involuntary dirty bomb. Despite this risk, Washington is weighing the strike option. Domestic pressure is mounting, with political lobbying groups like AIPAC demanding military action against Iran. The U.S. military is also responding to direct provocations. Recent drone and cruise missile attacks have targeted high-value American assets, including the USS Abraham Lincoln. Strategists are outlining specific retaliatory scenarios for mid-2025. The primary option involves deep penetration strikes on Iranian facilities using B-2 stealth bombers. The timeline for these decisions is compressing. Modern AI systems are increasingly used to calculate strike targets and tactical responses, moving faster than human diplomacy. Traditional U.S. allies are distancing themselves from this approach. NATO members and regional players like Saudi Arabia are backing away, citing the risk of environmental blowback. Political lobbying, military pressure, and AI-accelerated strategy are converging, steering the United States toward a strike that carries a heavy environmental cost. The aftermath of such a strike would be dictated by the weather. High-altitude radioactive winds would catch the vaporized heavy metals, carrying them out of Iranian airspace. This map displays the projected contamination zones. The toxic cloud radius expands outward, entering the air currents and water supplies of Pakistan, Afghanistan, and the broader Gulf states. In this scenario, national borders and military alliances provide no protection for the millions of civilians living downwind. This brings us back to the medical anomaly. The only viable defense against this fallout is biological. Prussian blue acts as a chemical sponge in the gut, binding to deadly elements like cesium and thallium so the body can expel them safely. Behind the scenes, India continues to function as the geopolitical pharmacy, mass-producing the exact compounds needed to keep neighboring nations supplied. Trillions of dollars have been spent developing stealth bombers and AI-driven targeting software, yet regional survival against those very weapons currently relies on the mass production of simple pills. Efforts to dismantle nuclear infrastructure can trigger the very environmental disaster they seek to prevent. If these strikes proceed, the primary shield for millions across the Middle East will be a simple stockpile of Prussian blue.